Hello and welcome to this training module for TwinStar, Scientific Games' newest cabinet. This module will cover the installation and removal of the iDeck. Before we get started, I'd like to point out a few references that will help give a better understanding of this new cabinet. All of these references shown here can be found on our website and will be included as an attachment with this video as well. Please take a moment again to review these documents. They are very helpful and full of information. Suggested tools needed to remove or assemble the iDeck are as follows. You'll need a number 2 Phillips head screwdriver, a 7mm nut driver socket and ratchets, as well as wire cutters. In looking at the iDeck, we all know this is a monitor display. In the event, should you have to repair or replace the iDeck, we need to understand how. So, let's get started. Note, you will need to remove the lower door and have the stacker access door open as well. This is very important or you won't be able to remove it. Also, you will need to use a protective object to place over the top of the iDeck to protect it from further damage. Before getting started, you want to disconnect the following cables for the lower middle door. Disconnect the 2 cables on the right of the cabinet that is plugged into the BV insert light bezel. Next, disconnect the grounding cable from the cabinet side of the TwinStar. Disconnect the speaker connections. Next, you have a total of 4 screws holding the lower middle door. Pull door towards you and observe there are 2 screws on the left and 2 screws on the right. Remove the 4 screws and ensure you have something to protect the iDeck from being damaged. After the screws have been removed, you will need to push back on each bracket that was holding the lower middle door in place. They should swing back freely and easily. Remove lower middle door and set aside in a safe place. Now, the iDeck can be disassembled for removal. To remove, we'll be working from the bottom of the iDeck. Observe, there are 6 Phillips screws that secure the cover for the iDeck. Remove these 6 screws as shown here. Disconnect the DP cable, your power cable, and the button cable from the iDeck assembly as shown here. Note, the LED control board doesn't need to be disconnected, but if replacing iDeck, you will need to ensure that you remove the board before turning in for an RMA. This will not come with an order when replacing it. Disconnect from the backplane board the USB cable for the iDeck. Using a 7mm nut driver, remove 13 screws as shown here. After all 13 nuts have been removed, we are now ready to remove the iDeck assembly. Note, when taking out the iDeck, the button should also be kept with the EGM. When the deck is ordered, it will not come with the button. Push from the bottom of the iDeck up and it will come out. To replace, perform the above steps in reverse. Ensure to route all cables as they were when the iDeck was removed. This prevents any cables from being pinched or damaged. Thank you for viewing the material. Should you have any questions or concerns at any time, reach out to our technical support team. Also, view our technical training SharePoint for potential training sessions, course materials, and videos that currently exist for all of our product lines.